Hey everybody, for those who are new here, I am Ra. I am a spiritual life coach, astrologer, I am a doula, and just someone who loves to share her mind, insights, things that I like. And today I really wanted to talk about how we can really be the ones holding ourselves back. And this is because we don't realize the power of our minds. And the thing is, like, even if you do realize the power of your mind in the sense of like maybe being self-destructive, you don't realize that that is something that you can work with, that is something that can shift and can turn around. And it's not about everything being like this um, quick scheme of, oh, I'm gonna turn everything around today, and then boom, that's gonna be it. But I think there's a lack of skill and how we choose to navigate life, which can make it harder because sometimes you can genuinely know what to do. You know exactly what moves to make. You know exactly what you should be doing. But because maybe you lack the skill of handling and dealing with discomfort, that you don't take action, you don't make any moves, right? So it's important to try to build the skills so we can make the choices that are necessary. Because if I never want to deal with discomfort, if you never want to deal with discomfort, then you can stay stuck in positions that make you even more uncomfortable because, oh, well, I'm comfortable here. I know how to navigate this situation. So therefore, I'm going to stay here. And honestly, when it even comes to just like the power of our minds, we can sometimes lack the grace and lack the nurturance, which are skills too, to really handle the things going on within our minds. And this holds us back as well. But it's like, don't approach change through a self depreciation lens, through a shame lens, like when you are approaching change, you can know exactly what you need to do. And I think sometimes if we can just break down the steps and be like, okay, I'm gonna take this one step, right? I'm gonna do this one thing. Like when you do that one thing, you start to build confidence in yourself. You start to build confidence in your choices. And I think that when what are you doing that is holding yourself back currently? What is it that you know you need to be doing, but you're not doing? And why are you doing that? In what ways are you holding yourself back? And try to look at this from a non shame lens. Not go down the route of being like, oh, I'm not doing this because, and start demeaning progressive. That is not going to help create any change. In fact, that's going to do the opposite. It'll keep you stuck and stagnant in the same places because you are looking at yourself from the self depreciative lens. And as we're stepping into a new year tomorrow, like we're literally going to be in December, and this is the end of the Gregorian calendar, but we still in the zodiacal year. So just with this little shift, right, that's happening. Honestly, it's such an interesting time because I feel like so much is happening and changing within the world, and like there can be so much uncertainty and people not really knowing what to do. And then also people, I think there is like this collective change and like consciousness and awareness in what we're doing, and people are finding like they're finding themselves in a new way. Like sometimes the world changing is literally a catalyst to self change, right? Like changes, like things that happen, the world is always going to affect us. And just thinking on it from a astrology perspective, like that birth chart is telling you that. Like when you look at your birth chart, it's also telling you like the state of it can tell you about the state of the world too, and how that affects you as a person, right? But just to even get off of that, I really do feel like we as people need to start really leaning into our power more, right? Because when you operate life with this sense of being powerless, that is how you end up settling. Like, I truly think that settling comes from a lack of knowing the power of self, right? Because sometimes settling literally comes from not just like not knowing yourself or a lack of power in yourself, but also a lack of belief in the life that you want to create for yourself, a lack of belief in your dreams. Because I feel like for one to have a dream, it's not just about ideals, but it's also about pivoting and having multiple pathways that ultimately lead to you having a successful and abundant life, whatever that means to you. And when you get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm just take what I can get, it's like you disconnected from all of those pathways. You've disconnected from all of those options. Like it's like you've disconnected from so many parts of yourself when you settle for something. We can actively give away our power to something else because we are too uncomfortable with handling things ourselves. So we want to give that power away to something else. And I feel like this is why a lot of people do find God, right? Like when it comes to like an extreme of finding God, like sometimes it's I've been dealing with all of these things myself and the weight is too much to bear, and so then you look to find solace in something and you find solace in God. And I'm not saying that this is like a bad thing. I'm just saying I feel like that's why a lot of people turn to God because like sometimes our power can feel way too much. Like I think for human beings feeling in control too much can definitely be like a scary thing to the point where it's like I need to hand this over to something to somebody, right? And I'm quick to tell somebody to surrender. Like sometimes you do just need to stop trying to do so much and just give in to the circumstance. Um, and I really mean that in a sense of like accepting what you can and truly cannot control.